Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 48, and today's topic is the one technique that will cause vocal damage. And I think we're going to have a really exciting discussion today about this, and is going to educate all of us as to what we can and cannot or should not do. So to start right off, I want to make sure that I want to ask you this one question, and that is, have you ever damaged your voice? Have you ever suffered any vocal damage? And primarily, I'm really interested in that answer based on whether or not you were singing when you damaged it. Not so much if you yelled and hurt it, but if you've sung and you damaged your voice. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. So, because we're going to be talking about that today, and I think there's a lot of, every time you open the paper someplace, you find out that some singer has damaged their voice and they have to have surgery and so forth. So just a shout out to those of you. Hey, Mindy, nice to see you, unless your wife's watching today. Anyway, hi, Ida Fed 96. Very nice to have you here. Gabriel, hi. Nice to have you join us. Sylvia and Hardik, welcome. Thank you. Hardik says he can hear and see me clearly, so that's great. I'm going to try and pull this down just a little bit here and adjust that picture so that it doesn't bother me. Alessio, nice to have you join us today. Gabriel and Pauline, great. Just it's really exciting to have so many of you with us. This is my kind of like a pre-show that I just want to say hi, and we're going to be kind of following up on some things about this topic. This Friday, I'm going to do a video about 5 singing techniques that are essentially basically required for every genre. And we've kind of been talking about techniques, we've been talking about genres, we've been talking about style a little bit. And so this Friday I'm going to get a video out talking about really 5 required techniques that just we have to have in every genre of music and style. So welcome to all of you guys. Anybody have vocal damage that if I'd love to hear it in the comment section here if you've ever had any kind of damage, I suppose. Let me see. Let me see if anyone has responded to that question. Gabriel said yes, yes. So I'm wondering if you've had vocal damage, Gabriel. What kind? Now Gabriel said care. Pauline said yes. So Pauline, what kind of, did you have some damage then on your cords? I'd be curious about that, because we're going to be talking about something today that's really, really important. Alessio said, let me see, maybe I'm missing some things. Hi, Rainy, thank you. You're awesome too. Let me just see if anyone here has got a description of any vocal damage. We just started. Miyamoto, just starting. In fact, we're starting officially in another minute. This is kind of a pre-show. We're starting at the top of the hour. Hardvik says, I need to know the closure topic in details, please, because I'm working to that now. Not sure exactly what you mean by that. Pauline says, after done singing, come out sore. Okay, really good point. Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 48, and welcome to the show today. Very, very excited to have you join me, and we've been talking a little bit about some who've joined me in the pre-show. And we're going to be talking about a topic today that's important to all of us. The topic is one technique that will damage your voice. And why is that important? Well, obviously, we don't want to damage our voices, but it's happening all the time, and not just to certain groups of singers, but the top professionals are having vocal damage, and they're having to cancel their tours. They're having other problems and issues with their voices where they're not in best voice when they have to go out on stage. So this is a really, really important topic. And financially, it can be devastating. Imagine how much, and there's some estimate out there, but when Adele had to cancel her last 2 shows of her world tour, and she was like in her hometown or right around their hometown, and so this was going to be like the big finale, a great big party, and imagine the disappointment she felt and her fans felt when she had to cancel her last 2 shows. And why? She had hemorrhaged one of her vocal cords, apparently. I think that's, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I believe that was what was the situation. And she had noticed it in the previous show. She had been under some stress before that anyway, could feel it, but previous show really something happened, and then so she had to cancel the last 2. Well, that's not new to Adele. She had that same thing happen about 5 or 6 years ago, where she also had to cancel her tours. And I don't know if she'd even started at that point. Maybe she'd done a few. Some of you would probably remember this. What happened? She hemorrhaged. What's a hemorrhage? It's a broken blood vessel right underneath the surface of the vocal cord that can externalize into and bleed out onto like the outside of the vocal cord. I mean, you could actually have blood in your throat as a result of that. And much of the time, it can only be, I don't know, I think it's probably a majority, or very often it can only be repaired through surgery. And the surgery can be dicey. It's such a high risk. I know there are many, many more success stories now than there used to be, but I actually used to work in surgery, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you this: you're never the same. You can have it could be a perfect surgery, but it's never the same as before. Best policy, avoid it at all costs. Not surgery on the vocal. I've never had surgery on the vocal cords, and I've never seen surgery on the vocal cords. I've seen a lot of other surgeries, thousands of surgeries. And in the very best case scenario, the patients do well, but they're never like they were before they had their surgery. So anyway, we want to avoid that, right? So can you guess which? We have some vocal types. Many of you know the vocal types. Can you guess? I'll just give you some choices here. Let's say the technique is, we'll call the vocal types a technique instead. Pulled chest, high larynx. A flip, falsetto. A very light, airy, breathy technique. Or a mixed voice technique. Out of those techniques there, what do you think, and oftentimes, and I've been calling them for years, a vocal type, but it's also a technique. Which do you think would cause vocal damage? What do you think? Pulled chest, high larynx, flip falsetto, light chest, no chest voice, or a mixed voice? Do you know? Can you take a guess? Write it in the comment there. I'd love to see who has already figured this out. So I had heard a story one time. I was in a seminar with Seth Riggs. Yep, Ayamoto, you're right on the money. I was in a seminar and I heard Seth Riggs talk about this. He was on tour with Michael Jackson. He was on Michael's tour promoting, it was called the Bad Tour. And the Bad Bad was the signature song for the tour and for the album and so forth. And I can't exactly remember what happened per se that caused this disagreement between Seth and Michael. I think what was going on was Seth was kind of getting on Michael for being a little extravagant vocally. By extravagant, I mean doing things that Seth was worried about that was going to cause him to damage his voice. And it got heated enough that essentially Michael dismissed Seth and sent him to his hotel room. Now some of you out there may have heard or read about this story, and so I apologize if I'm not getting every exact detail correct. But Seth said, I went to bed basically and cried myself to sleep. And I can relate to that. That was such a big responsibility. You're caring for the king of the world and in the pop genre of singing, and he sends you back to your hotel, like a kind of a punishment, right? So he went to bed. He woke up to a phone call early morning. Seems like he said it was around 7 a.m. Hello, Seth. It's Michael. Something happened last night. Michael was hoarse. Seth said, I'll be right over. So he got dressed, went over, and they went through every single song in his show's set. I mean, every song in the set throughout the evening. I don't know how many there were, 20 plus songs. And they went through and examined every single word, and he and Michael narrowed vowels of the songs through his whole show. And that saved him. That saved his voice in that situation. There was some, and imagine this, if you're pulling your, okay, so with that, let me just announce the one technique that will damage your voice is pulled chest, high larynx. The pulled chest, high larynx is responsible for so much damage in the vocal world. If you go to powertosing.com and watch the videos on pulled chest, high larynx, that's the videos in the Knowledge Center, and go to pulled chest, high larynx, there is a composite video of multiple different singers, professional singers who pull their chests. Keith Urban, and he's one that has had surgery on his vocal cords. Anyway, there's like 5 or 6 of them, examples that I show of them singing who actually had to have surgery on their voice, on their cords. It's not too long ago that Sam Smith had to have vocal rest. I'm not sure if he had surgery or not. So this is a problem that's happening all the time. Why? It's because of this pulling the chest, raising the larynx up, and it creates such stress on the voice. And so let's go back to Michael's story for a minute. Imagine, and this is the case for any of you who might be singing professionally in a band, front singer in a band, where you are singing maybe 20 songs in a set for the evening. And let's just say that maybe you're not pulling chest all the time, but maybe you do it in the chorus. And in the chorus, there's like 5 times maybe that you hit a note that you're definitely pulling chest, and the larynx is going up. But the chorus is sung 3 times plus a variation at the end of the bridge of the song. So maybe, let's just say 4 times, maybe 20 times then. 4 times in the chorus times 5 of those extravagant moments where you're pulling your chest. So in one song, you might have 20 assaults on the chord structure, on the vocal cords. But let's say you're doing that 20 times in an evening. Now it's 400 times in an evening. I'm just saying if you did it 5 times during a chorus. I'm not saying you're pulling your chest voice the whole time, So can you see how things can add up, and pretty soon you add to that the stress of tour, the late nights, the early mornings, the all-day interviews, radio station to station, live broadcasts, keeping your health good, all of that. And you combine that with pulling the chest voice all evening long, or periodically throughout the evening, maybe just 5 times during the chorus. That's all. Just 5 times during the chorus ends up being 400 times in the evening. You can begin to see. Now, so what is pulled chest high larynx? I'm guessing that most of you know what that is, but what does it sound like? Let me just double check here before I kind of shift gears here. And just I want to say hi to some of you who I haven't said hello to. Thank you, Rainey. I appreciate your compliment a moment ago. Oh, hi, Audie. Nice to have you with us. Zachary, great to have you here. So glad you're here. Altu, hi. How are you doing? Altu indicates that he didn't have vocal damage, fortunately. But Miyamoto, you were actually absolutely right. It is pulled chest and the high larynx. Pulled chest would damage. Jed, you're exactly right. Nice to have you with us today. Sylvia, right. The pulled chest, the high larynx. Pauline, the falsetto, it depends if the falsetto, it's a light production and it's disconnected tone. But I can see that if you were always in that falsetto, I could see where it would dry the edges of the chord structure out and cause the voice to start to become raspy. The other thing that happens with falsetto, especially if it's sung for years in falsetto, the chord structure starts to lose its ability to come together, and after a while you get a wobble. So that's one of the issues with falsetto. Usually that's not, they don't do surgery for that, but it's not the best thing for your voice, right? Okay, so it's probably true. Jeremy, hi. I don't know if I've said hello. Very nice to have you here. So it's in case you are new to the channel, and if you are, please consider subscribing. I'd just love to have you. But if I'm pulling chest, that means I'm not allowing a transition to occur. So a pulled chest would sound more like So I'm exaggerating. Usually when the singers are doing it, some of them are such good singers that it doesn't sound too bad. I mean, Adele, my gosh, how many Tonys has she, or how many Grammys has she won? And abusing her voice. So it's not like this awful sound, although for my ear it's starting to become that way. I don't really like listening to pulling chest, but can also be more like that. Some people can't do it well at all, and it's just a scream. And it starts to fall under pitch, and so this constant slamming together of the chord structure, the vocal cords remain thick. You can hear that thickness. You can hear the volume. It's almost always accompanied by loud volume, almost always accompanied by the vowel spreading. Wah. Or I'm losing the vowel here. Now, in contrast to that, what's the solution? What's the solution to pulled chest, high larynx? Do we just stop singing? No, we retrain. And are we trained correctly? And we develop the technique that will allow the vocal cords to adjust appropriately as the pitch goes higher, allows the resonance to shift appropriately so that it can be a blend of chest voice and head voice, and you manage the vowels appropriately in the song so that the vowel shape also affects the vocal cord structure, affects whether you're allowing some head voice to come in or a mixed voice of chest and head. So we've got to be able to learn how to say or nay, 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 nay. So that's the high B. If you're in that kind of condition, then you're going to be fine in the songs. But if you're doing that first thing where you're pulling the chest voice up, you will face vocal damage. It's pure and simple. And it might be just like someone said here, Pauline, maybe it was someone commented that when they're done singing, it's tiring and difficult. That their voice is tired or they're hoarse. So let me just gather some of these comments. Hi, Audie, you're from France. Very nice to have you here. It's you, huh, Mindy? Okay, so, oh, hi, Jed. Nice to have you here. Altu, again, let me see. So, Bill said it's 70 years. All right, Bill. Okay, need to know the closure topic, and let me see, I hope not. Begun to sing too loud. Because of singing too loud. That's a very common characteristic of pulled chest high larynx. Because what happens when you sing loud is you're pushing a lot of air to the vocal cords. So when there's a lot of air to the vocal cords, they resist that air. So as soon as there's that resistance of that airflow coming up, from your lungs, the airflow is coming up. Well, now the cord structure has to hold back that air before it pops through. And that's what gives you volume, loudness. And so, but what happens is we have to tighten. We have to tighten it up so tight. And the larynx starts being pulled up. And it just cascades problems after problem. And so by over singing with too much volume, we can throw the voice completely out of balance. We have way too much tension in the cord structure, which now we need to push harder so we can try and find that better tone, and it just leads us into real problems. So singing too loud is one of the causes of, and one of the accompanying problems of pulling chest voice. So good comment, Alessio. So Pauline said, yeah, after done singing, coming out sore. Yeah, you know something's not right when that happens. That's why this is such a vital and important thing that we learn to bridge. So many of you are in that process right now, which is very exciting for me. And it's exciting for me not just from the standpoint of protecting your voice, but what doors it opens to your voice. All the things you can do, because now you can get through that break area of your voice, or for guys, like through this top that feels like it's the end of our voice. It's not the end, it's the opening to the head voice. To the ladies, it's just that break area where you feel like every song is, right? So instead of always trying to avoid that break. Well, so that's a little hint about the upcoming video. There are there are definite requirements for every genre. Can you guess one of them? Okay. So Rainey said it took forever for her to gain her range again, or to gain range again. And so, you know, imagine having to have surgery. Now, I have a friend who was a fellow teacher who had a hemorrhage. And primarily he had a hemorrhage because he used his voice all the time and demonstrating all the time. He had a hemorrhage. And it is such a frightening, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's just scary. It really is scary, especially if you make your living with your voice. Audie says, I never experienced vocal damages, but every autumn I feel like a little call of strain in my larynx. Sometimes it's related to the change in the weather, the allergies that can occur, and so forth. So there are some things in addition to pulling chest that can, you know, like if you're sick and you sing while you're sick. But that's not so much a vocal technique as it is a kind of a condition, weather condition or health condition. During driving, that's dangerous. Is that what you're saying, Gabrielle or Gabrielle? Okay, cord closure. Not sure. I'm missing a little bit on that. I think I must have missed something. Working through vocal rattle seems to be related to the raised larynx. You know, there's so many problems that the raised larynx introduces, and so many that it fixes when we get it right. Pauline says she's a mezzo. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just try and address some other questions here. So bear with me while I try and track these down. How does one achieve a pop R&B sound with a healthy technique? Okay, Mindy. So if I'm singing mum 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 mum, it might be too not enough edgy quality to it, or maybe what's sometimes referred to as too legit. So one of the exercises that you can do for anyone who's wanting to do this. So this is a question that's kind of a generalized question that doesn't have anything really relative to necessarily directly to pulled chest high larynx, but on the other hand, indirectly, if you're trying to go for that sound but you don't know how to do it by in combination with the skill of bridging, then you can still get into trouble. So it's a great question, Mindy. So one of the things you can do is nay nay nay. Excuse me. Nay 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 nay. So you do a kind of silly, funny sounding. Nay 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 nay. Nay 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 nay. Nay 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 nay. So you can start to get that little edgy sound. But now listen, it's much lighter than chest, because where I was singing that, I mean, that last note was the high B flat. Imagine if I was saying nay 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 nay. If I were screaming that, yelling it up, pulling my chest voice, spreading the vowel, raising the larynx. So it's lighter than chest, but it's deeper than the falsetto. Nay 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 nay. So once you're able to find that place, here's the F sharp. Nay 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 nay. Nay 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 nay. Then once you kind of find that place where there's this reduced, where you're in your mix, it's in a mixed voice, it's not falsetto, it's not pulled up chest, it's a blend depending on where you're at in the scale and so forth. If you're up in the, for the guys, for the ladies, you'd be, if you're in mix or beyond your first bridge, be the C sharp or the high D. Nay, 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 nay. Go with that bratty sound. Once you're able to do that and like sustain it like I just did, then you go a little less bratty, a little more normal. I'm not going to try it on the high D. Nay, 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 nay. But that's a lot different than nay, 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 nay. So that little silly, exaggerated tone, that little bratty sound, will help thin the chord structure, help you be able to transition up through the bridge into your head. And then once you start feeling that solidify, then you can go more normal. Nay, 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 nay. And you can find that quality in your voice. It can be as simple as going a little bit on the bratty side with the words. So that's how you begin to develop that R&B quality with a healthy technique. And that's not belt. That's not belt. That's a mix. And I guess you could say, if you wanted to call it like a hard mix or an edge mix, but it's mix. Altic said he didn't have any vocal damage, was lucky to start with SLS from the beginning, thanks. After practicing for about half an hour, I feel the E flat 4, E, F4 gets very weak. It's like it feels hard to adduct my chords in that area after 30 minutes. It may. You might, sometimes it takes time, and it's like going to the gym, it takes time to be able to go from 15, 20 pounds on biceps 15 or 20 times to, being able to use 30 pounds with, multiple reps and so forth. So the chord structure can be trained and it can be strengthened over a period of time. Take your time with it though. Don't try and push it. Now, Altu, that same demonstration that I just showed you, showed Mendy with the nay, 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 you can use to give you a little bit more of a workout on that F. Here's the F above middle C. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Stay funny with it. Nay, 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 nay. Over time, that's going to help, and then get more and more normal as it's holding and as you're getting used to that. Miyamoto, you were exactly right. Pulled chest. And it off dead. 96, high larynx, absolutely right. Right, Jed, pulled chest caused damage. Vocal coach Gabriel's vocal coach says, tells me I'm a tenor, but I don't know. I'm on my edge when I'm at the A4 or something close. If your coach is saying you're a tenor, probably are, because it's not just your ability to hit the A4. Even if you feel like you're at the top, if that's all that you can, if that's all the further you can go. But my guess is you've probably got more range there, Gabriel, than the A4. I have to listen to you to know. But there are other things besides range that determine our vocal type, like tessitura, and where you speak, what the general tone quality of the voice is, and so forth. Sylvia was right on, the high larynx. That's going to get you every time. So Miyamoto says, you mentioned pulled chest while describing proper technique of singing a few videos ago. If I mentioned pulling chest while I was describing vocal proper technique, then either I was misstating it, or you were misunderstanding. And knowing me, I may have misstated it. Let me be clear. There is no pulled chest, high larynx technique that's that's proper. Now, I can have a high larynx, like this, for example, this nay, 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 nay. The larynx is up a little bit, but it's not as severe as nay, 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 nay. It's not that kind of high larynx. It's not the kind of pulled chest. So, and we just do that exercise, that nay, 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 that little silly sound, until we're able to do it without it. Nay, 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 nay. Now, there are circumstances, for example, in musical theater, where a character may have a high larynx, and they have to be careful. They have to be careful with their character voices. They don't throw their technique out or damage their voice. But typically speaking, they can do it healthily because it's not an excessive thing. It's not raw gut pulled up chest or really high, really high larynx with spreading vowels and so forth. But I'm thinking of Ado Annie from Oklahoma. I'm just a girl who can't say no. She has that kind of a, or Miss Hannigan in Annie. You remember Carol Burnett did that, and she sang with that kind of a higher larynx in that show. She sings little girls, little girls. I mean, she's using that to help create her character. Another one is Adelaide in Guys and Dolls. A person can develop a cough. You know, she's kind of got that like a Brooklyn accent with that little high larynx. So, so there are cases where people use it, but that's different than, this is different, nay, 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 then nay, 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 nay. See, it's not as heavy as chest, pure chest, and it's not as light. It's deeper than falsetto. Nay, 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 nay. It's a little connected tone on the edge of the vocal cord. It allows you to develop the R&B. It helps you develop strength, alto. It helps you do a number of different things. But it's not pulled up, blasting chest voice, belting it out. That's a great. I thank you for that comment because it helps kind of distinguish between those. Let me see if I can get a couple others. Hi, Jeremy from Jamaica. Hope you did okay on all those hurricanes down there. Glad you're here today. Alto asks, after one can do the exercise right, it is necessary to work with a teacher on the actual songs for vowel modifications, etc. Is it necessary? You know, I've always found out too that what I think I'm doing very frequently can be fine-tuned by a teacher who is listening to me. Sometimes, frankly, I just don't hear well what I'm doing. Now, that being said, I could experiment and I could record myself and go back and listen to it and, you know, tweak it that way. That's a possibility. But I find personally that I've benefited through the years working with a teacher who could hear me because I can do one word at a time, one pitch at a time, and so forth. But when I do like the whole song, I start getting off a little bit, and it's great to have somebody watching. Excuse me. Okay, and listening. Great to have somebody listening. That's the main thing. What wow, Pauline? Okay, what wow. Mindy, how can I do scales that take me through the first bridge and into head voice with the neutral larynx? However, if I need to start a phrase in the bridge or the head voice. Oh, I'm sorry. I see. I can do scales that take me through the first bridge and the head voice with the neutral larynx. However, if I need to start a phrase in the bridge or the head voice. Good question. Well, first of all, I would definitely focus on what the vowel is. So if I have to start a phrase, for example, let me just show, if I were singing, can you feel the love tonight, with Elton John's Lion King. Now, if I said, and can you, so this is the second note that I'm singing, can, tough vowel in the bridge, right in the F. That's right smack dab in the men's voices. Ladies, for you, that'd be about the B, the high B right below high C. I mean, the B right below high C. And can. So you can, that's a hard one. So one strategy that really works is to take that vowel and narrow the vowel so that that vowel pronunciation lands you in a place that's going to drive you towards mix. So if I said, and can you, can, that's different than can you feel the love tonight? So I can plan all of those words. Instead of saying can, I say ken, like K-E-N. Or even if I have to, kin, or can. So you can practice it, over narrow it. Say, can you feel? All right, that's how it feels. Can. Now I can do can in that place, in that narrow place. Can you feel? That's different than can. So plan it out, plan what the vowel is, and then narrow that vowel down so that you can land on the mix there. That's one really solid strategy for that. I revert to raised larynx. The way you overcome that is by time and effort. It just takes time to get your balance. You know, if you're learning a new skill, let's say you're learning to ride a bike. You get on the bike and you learn to ride, you stay up and you've got balance and so forth. Well, that doesn't mean you can go down a really steep road without any hands at first. It just takes time. Okay, some more questions here and we'll see if I can. Hey Calvin, nice to have you with us today. Nice, thank you for joining. Gosh, I touched the screen here and I missed a bunch of questions here. Can you do it? Let me see. Can you do a demonstration of what a pulled chest sounds like? I think you've got that now, right, Pauline? So if I said, and can you feel the love tonight? Pulling. Can you feel the love tonight? Is more of a mix sound. And so that's an example. What is it with the pulling chest exactly? I think we've probably covered that, Gabriel. If I haven't, then we'll have to circle back. Is the new to no exercise same as go to go? Yes, with a different consonant, exactly. Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, extreme fatigue when singing. Lost the top. Yeah, you know something's going wrong when you start losing your notes, that you can't hit your range. Ida Fed 96. I hope I haven't forgotten you. Was there a question there that I was supposed to get from an answer for you? Hi, Larynx. Sorry, it's just hard to keep up with all of these. Great questions today, you guys. Thank you very much. UK, hi UK. My mixed voice sounds like I'm grunting. Do you know why? I don't know why. Why? I'd have to hear you. But maybe there's not enough air escape. Maybe it's too compressed, too tight. Can you feel the love? Maybe the chords are too tight, and so there's some kind of imbalance there. Is the vowel spreading? Are you too loud? Those are a couple guesses. I'd really probably have to hear you to know the answer to that. Hi, Sandra from California. Awesome. Thanks for joining today. And Sandra's an alto. Sylvia says, I'm trying to get rid of it. Seems like a second nature. I'm guessing trying to get rid of the challenging technique. Slim, hi. Nice to see you today. Glad to have you. SpongeBob, round pants. Why do I sing good on some days and I'm trash on all the other days? Well, maybe you're not drinking enough water. Speaking of which, we'll see if my lemonade helps aid my stuff on my chords today. Didn't get enough sleep the night before. For some reason, the tension in your life is raising the larynx. Everything's just a little bit tight. Maybe you're forgetting your technique. How long's it been since you've had a lesson? Perhaps the vowel is spreading. There's a lot of things. Maybe you're a little under the weather. There's a lot of different things that can. Isn't it awful to be a human? You pick up your horn and blow it. You play the trumpet. It's going to be the same instrument every time. Wouldn't that be nice if the voice worked that way, huh? Growling can cause. I think growling can cause damage. Scream. We didn't talk about scream, but that's kind of pull chest. You can do it, I guess. Some people think they can do it, and I don't know what's going to happen. And after 10 years of scream, we'll see. Everybody talks about shifting the resonance. How do I do that? What happens when we do that? So we don't do it. In other words, we don't manage it or make it. If we do the vowel correctly, it does what what the body does naturally. All right. So expect it, but don't direct it. Is one of Seth Riggs' favorite sayings. And that is, you set everything up correctly, and it will happen. So if I just say I've gone into my head. Now, I didn't make anything happen there, but if you'll notice, the vowel did kind of adjust by itself. To And so if I'm allowing everything to happen appropriately, then it happens. And so it's like a runner. It's like a baseball player running to first base, And he asks, how do I run really fast to first? Noah says, I am a bass. Later in the day and night, I am able to sing into 5 octaves. Why is our voice lower in the morning? Well, first of all, the vocal cords are rested, and so they're very relaxed. They can be somewhat, perhaps, swollen, depending on what your room is like, and or they could be just very in a condition. For me, the larynx is down when I wake up in the morning, and so you get some access to your low notes. Isn't it fun? Saturday morning's my best morning for. Oh, that's the low E. That's not too bad for an afternoon. Gabriel, the drive technique. That's what I meant, to get the voice raspy in a healthy way. Don't know anything about that. Gabriel, I think the expression in America isn't dry but raspy, something like that. Yeah, I don't teach rasp. I try and get rasp out of the voice. Just, I don't know. LeQuack. Hey, Chuck. Hi, LaQuack. Great to have you here. Question: what should be my daily workout? I would do, depending on your vocal type, for sure at a minimum, I would do all the exercises for your vocal type. If it's pulled chest, high larynx, I would do all those exercises, like 12 minutes or 15 minutes, something like that. And you could do it 2 to 3 times a day. I think multiple short times are better than one long time. Why? Because we keep coming back and reestablish it correctly for a short period of time. We do the exercises really well, and then we come back to it again and spend another 10-15 minutes on it. And we come back and do it again the third time. And so it's a great way to begin to retrain the nervous system. But 1 hour at a time is probably not going to be as effective as 4 15-minute segments. You know, morning, noon, and night, and while you're driving around, whatever. So I would say do the exercises for your vocal type. You'll find those at powertosing.com. I think you've been around, that you've got a vocal type. Clarissa Kennedy, can I sing my chest voice really well? I can sing my chest voice really well. Once I go over the break, I sound weak and need extra air. Clarissa, join the club. That's I couldn't even go through my break, so at least you're able to get through your break. But yeah, it's bridging, and I'll maybe share with you in a moment where to go. You can go online on my website. I can give you exercises that's going to help you learn how to bridge. I guess that was an indirect question I asked since, Mindy says, I guess it was an indirect question I asked, since that seems to be the genre with the most pulled chest, high larynx use. Tell me some exercises for daily vocal workout. Okay, so hopefully that was a good answer. Let me see here. Vowel modification. Calvin, we're out of time to go into a lot of detail about vowel modification. However, I'll just take a break right now, and I'll address a couple issues that are online. Let me just show you, if we go to let me see here. I didn't set this up, so I've got to do a real quick screen capture, and let me just fix this for you really quickly, because I want to be able to share this with you. And we'll enable this so that you can see what I'm talking about here. All right, so if you go to powertosing.com, first of all, the vocal test. For those of you who don't have your vocal type, there is a test you can take. Watch this video and it will explain it. You record your voice while you sing to accompaniment, and it'll take you through your bridge in your voice. Then you come down here and answer these questions in this quiz and submit your answers. Answer them all, then submit your answers, and you will receive your vocal type in an email, virtually within the next, within a minute or less. If you don't get it, then please go to your spam file and make sure it didn't go there. Now, your vocal type is critical to your singing success. You can watch these, but I recommend, in addition, you go to the Knowledge Center, which is in your menu here at the top. And if you go to the Knowledge Center, at the top of the page is a section where you can go and watch videos about your vocal type. So let's say your vocal type is pulled chest, high larynx. You come to this page, and here's a video all about what it is. I dissect it. This explains what pulled chest, high larynx is. And also, if you go back, you can select flip falsetto or light chest, no chest, or mixed voice and learn the same things. So there'll be a video about your vocal type. Then I demonstrate vocal exercises that will help you remove the weaknesses or the problems with the vocal type and help you learn to bridge. Then here's this mashup video I was telling you about. If you go here, you can watch a lot of singers, professionals who use pull chest high larynx. About 5 or 6 of those have had surgery on their voices. Now, to answer the other question that you asked me about, if you go back to this Knowledge Center again, as far as vowel modification, please go to the Knowledge Center. On the right-hand side, there is categories. So you hit this menu and just scroll down and look under vowel. Where is it? Vowel modifying. There's 6 videos you can watch there, and they will enable you to get lots of good information on vowel modification. And so how to improve singing, balance your vowels. So it's just, one after the other, 6 of them there. So I think that'll really help. And that's a fast way of answering it so that everybody can see it. Now, we got to wrap it up because I've got a student coming in a few minutes. Thanks, Mindy. Appreciate it. You're fantastic as well. And thanks for joining me today. So Kelvin, hopefully that's going to be helpful on vowel modifications. Casa de Sant Ana. Okay, so you're helping there. Thanks. All right, let's see here. I think I'm going to probably have to wrap it up, but just want to say thank you. So this last question here from Ishan Tiku. Hi Chuck, just wanted to ask that different singers follow different techniques or differently muscle combinations to walk through your bridges into the voice. Now, they will work. All of the exercises will work for every kind of voice and every kind of genre and every style. There's some really fundamental things here that you can use in every kind of style, and I'm actually going to be talking more about that. It's a good segue into, I'll be posting a video this Friday, and I'm going to be talking about 5 techniques that are required for every genre, and we'll be covering some of that. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great group today. Lots of fantastic questions. I apologize if I couldn't get to all of yours. Please subscribe to Power to Sing, and so you get notification on and you have to open up the bell and say, yeah, notify me when you go live, and that way it'll come up. And so thank you very much. Great to see you today. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. I look forward to it. Thanks.